Hello students, let me welcome you to the session 5 in this lesson, Laws of Motion. And today we are going to see a lot of topics. First one is angle of friction, then angle of repose, rolling friction, methods to reduce friction, frictional force in a moving bicycle. These are the topics we are going to see today. Let's move to the angle of friction. Angle of friction. The angle of friction is defined as the angle between the normal force N and the resultant force R of a normal force and maximum friction force Fs max. This is a 2-mark question. See, this picture you can see this is the angle of frictional force. Fs max is towards the left side and the force is towards the right side. Due to this, the resultant force creates an angle which is equal to the N plus Fs max. The resultant force is equal to the normal force and the maximum friction force. I think you can see this, okay. R vector is equal to N vector plus Fs max vector. See, from the figure, the resultant force is R is equal to root of Fs max the whole square plus N square. We can have this as tan theta is equal to Fs max divided by N. But from the frictional relation which we got in this picture, the object begins to slide when Fs max is equal to mu s into N, which is the static friction, where Fx max N is equal to mu s. From the equation 2 and using the equation 1 and 2, the coefficient of static friction is equal to mu s is equal to tan theta. Because we substitute here, instead of Fs max, we substitute this mu s n here, and you can cancel the n both, so you get tan theta is equal to mu s. Therefore, the coefficient of static friction is equal to the tangent of the angle of friction. Remember, the coefficient of static friction is equal to the tangent of the angle of friction. Now, angle of repose. See, let us consider an inclined plane on which an object is placed at an angle. Okay, this is an inclined plane. An object is fixed and it is placed within an angle theta with the horizontal. It's a sliding position, so we take it as a horizontal position. This is the angle which we fixed in the horizontal position. There is an angle between the object and the ground. Now, for small angles of theta, the object may not slide down. If theta is increased to a particular value, the object begins to slide down. This value is called angle of repose. Remember, if you have this angle greater, then the object will slide down. If it is in a straight line or if it is to 0 or 1 or 2, there is no sliding happen. The gravitational force mg is resolved into mg sin theta, right? The gravitational force mg is resolved into mg sin theta, and which is parallel to the movement. then mg cos theta is to the inclined plane. The components parallel to the inclined plane mg sin theta tries to move the object down and perpendicular to the inclined plane, which have the angle mg cos theta and which is balanced by the normal force N. Here you can see the normal force N. Let me explain you again. The components which are parallel to the inclined plane, the components are parallel to the inclined plane. Mg sin theta tries to move the object down and perpendicular to the inclined plane. This is the perpendicular to the inclined plane, which can be balanced by the normal force N. So, N is equal to mg cos theta. This equals the normal force. This mg cos theta equals the normal force. When the object just begins to move, the static friction attains the maximum value. Okay, so the static friction Fs is equal to Fs max, and which is equal to mu s n, or instead of n you can substitute mu s mg cos theta from the equation number 1. This friction also satisfies the relation. What is the relation? Fs max is equal to mg sin theta. This termed as the equation number 3. Equating the right hand side of the equation 2 and 3, that means instead of Fs max we substitute mg sin theta here. So mg sin theta is equal to mu s mg cos theta. If you take mu s to the left hand side, we get mg cos theta divided by mg sin theta, or sin theta divided by cos theta. You can cancel this, both this mg and mg. So mg sin theta divided by mg cos theta. From the definition of angle of friction, we also know that mu s is equal to tan theta. Again, we also here receive the angle which is a tan theta. Thus, theta is the angle of repose and is the same as the angle of friction. So, angle of repose and angle of friction are equal. Application of angle of repose. Let's see where this angle of repose are applied. First one, antlions make sand traps in such a way that when an insect enters the edge of the trap, it starts to slide towards the bottom. If it enters, it will slide towards the bottom, where the antlion hide himself. The angle of inclination of sand trap is made to be equal to the angle of repose. That's why if an insect enters, it got down in the antlion's trap. Children are fond of playing on sliding boards, that we know. Sliding will be easier when the angle of inclination of the board is greater than the angle of repose. Okay, it should be in an angle. This angle is very important. At the same time, if inclination angle is much larger than the angle of repose, the slider will reach the bottom at a greater speed and get hurt. We should not reduce this to raise the angle. If you raise the angle, then the slider will reach the bottom at a greater speed and the children will get hurt. These are the applications of angle of repose. Let's see the rolling friction. Do you know, students, the invention of the wheel plays a crucial role in human civilization. When an object moves on a surface, basically it is sliding on it. But wheels move on the surface through rolling motion. And in rolling motion, when a wheel moves on the surface, the point of contact with the surface is always at rest. I will show you this in some pictures like this. When a body slides over another body, the resistance faced is due to the sliding friction. On the other hand, if a body rolls with just a single point of its surface in contact over another body, the resistance over is a case of rolling friction. See, if our wheels are like this, then what will happen? Imagine you will get a maximum friction with all the bodies. Is it possible to roll as easier as you like? No. That's why our wheels are a perfect circular structure. Here also, the friction raised while the motion of this car, the friction raised to maximum. Then after that, it has a circular transfer of motion. See, initially the body starts with the kinetic friction, it overcomes the Fs, then it starts to move easier. You can see the graph. Here Fs is equal to Uk into N. In this picture also, the kinetic friction is this and this is a static friction. Static friction cannot, in static friction the body is settled with the ground. It's not easy to move, but here in the kinetic friction the body is up against the surface. That's why it moves along. Since the point of contact between the wheel and the surface is at rest here as a static friction, there is no relative motion between the wheel and the surface. Hence the frictional force is very less. At the same time, if an object moves without a wheel, there is a relative motion between the object and the surface. As a result, frictional force is larger. This makes it difficult to move the object. Methods to reduce friction. See, during the time of Newton and Galileo, frictional force was considered as one of the natural force like gravitational force. But in the 20th century, the understanding of atoms and electrons and protons has changed the perspective. The frictional force is actually the electromagnetic force between the atoms and on the two surfaces. Even well polished surfaces have irregularities on the surface at the microscopic level. See, walking is possible because of frictional force. Vehicles like bicycle, car, van can move because of the frictional force between the tire and the road. Even in braking system, the kinetic friction plays a major role. You can see here the pressure lubrication helps the machine to work easily. Due to this, the lubrication, the machine works easier and there is no friction for that. Now, the frictional force comes into effect whenever there is relative motion between the two surfaces. Let me show a picture. These are the two surfaces. If you have effective lubricants in between the two surfaces, it will be easier and the efficiency will be greater. See, in big machines used in industries, the relative motion between different parts of the machine produce some unwanted heat which reduces its efficiency. To reduce this kinetic friction, lubricants are used. You can see machine or a surface without oil here, and with oil or with lubricant it works more than we expected. Actually, the purpose of ball bearing is to reduce the rotational friction and support the radial and axial loads. It achieves this by using at least two races to contain the balls and transmit the loads through the balls. In most applications, one race is stationary and the other is attached to the rotating assembly. Example, hub or shaft, or you can see the ball bearings particularly in the bicycles. Okay, our day-to-day life we use bicycles. You can see the usage of ball bearings. As one of the bearing races rotates, its cause the balls to rotate as well. Because the balls are rolling, they have much lower coefficient of friction than if two flat surfaces are sliding against each other. So the ball bearings provide another effective way to reduce the kinetic friction in machine. If ball bearings are fixed between two surfaces during the relative motion, only the rolling friction comes to effect and not the kinetic friction. You can see some normal contact area here, and the true contact area is between these two layers. If you have a frictional lubricant here, the machine will function well. If you are not having a lubricant, then it will be in greater motion with the friction. In this picture also you can see the force and the frictions are in opposite directions. Last one, frictional force in the motion of a bicycle. Let's see a bicycle moving. There we can see the frictional force of a bicycle. When a bicycle moves in forward direction, what is the direction of frictional force in the rear and front wheels? When we pedal a bicycle, we try to push the surface backward and the velocity of point of contact in the rear wheel is backwards. So the frictional force pushes the rear wheel to move forward. But as the front wheel is connected with the rigid support, that means it connected with the one chain, the chain pulls the back wheel and the front wheel. Actually we are giving the motion in the forward motion in the back wheel. Due to this, the front wheel also acts towards the direction of the back wheel. As the front wheel is connected with a rigid support to the back wheel, the forward motion of back wheel pushes the front wheel in the forward direction. So the frictional forces act backward. Remember, both frictional forces correspond to only static friction and they don't connect with the kinetic friction. If the wheel slips, then the kinetic friction comes into effect. That means it's going to be stopped. In addition to static friction, the rolling friction also acts on both wheels in the backward direction. Thank you students. Stay safe and study.